So how do you eliminate confusion? How do you eliminate anxiety? And how do you eliminate just fear overall when it comes to starting your own e-commerce business? All right. SAMIR CHIBANE here, my business partner, Juan, right there. He's cooking up. So we're out here at his apartment in Los Angeles, and really just want to record a quick video. Actually, I put some good thought into this video. No lie, I put some really good thought into this video because, and if you notice, right, if you're new to my channel here, obviously welcome on over. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, all that good stuff, you know, for great videos like the one you're about to experience. But if you've been following me for a while, you probably noticed I stopped making, you know, e-commerce videos, just like very like tutorial based. I mean, we've done some podcasts for sure, but really tutorial videos I kind of stopped doing. And there's a reason for that, okay? Which I'm obviously gonna explain, and it's, you know, all gonna make sense by the end of the video here. But the main reason that I wanna share with you is because honestly, it just got so clickbaity, okay? The only way you could get views on YouTube for like, I mean, it still is pretty much just by super clickbaity titles, super clickbaity concepts, you know, how to turn $20 into $20 Instagram shout out into a $20,000, you know, day, right? Juan, can you think of a good one?
No, that was actually a pretty good one. I think I was having a look around, I was seeing something around, I was seeing like some of the topics being, I was telling you earlier about how $5 ad budgets apparently are just no longer the thing, even though they were the thing for the last 2 years. Now it's apparently not the $5 strategy anymore. And if you're using the $5 strategy, apparently you can't get any results.
And if you use the $10 strategy, you could probably make $10,000 a day or something.
Easily 10x.
So yeah, so it's like all these super clickbaity titles. And again, we're not necessarily trying to point the finger at you know, anybody, because we literally did it. So, you know, it was just the way, you know, the kind of the ignorance of trying to get those likes and the subscribers and all that good stuff. Like, you just had to put up all those clickbaity titles. All right. And so really to combat that, right, I was fed up with it. I was like, screw this. Like, even Juan kind of chilled out for a while. And even when we do use clickbaity titles, like we preface it with exactly the message that we're trying to, you know, like get across. Okay. So to cut to it, I don't want to kind of keep dancing around here, but to cut to it, we're like, if we're going to make content, we'd rather be quality content. And so this one right here you're about to watch, it's going to be a little bit extensive, but you know, you can't really teach someone anything in about 5 minutes. Okay. So hopefully you stick around for the rest of this video right here. And again, if you like what you hear, if you like what you see, make sure you hit that subscribe button. All right. So the reason why a lot of people struggle in e-commerce, the reason why a lot of people just don't get any success in e-commerce, because when they first get into it, they come into it with the wrong expectations. Okay. It's kind of like getting into a relationship when you have no idea who the other person is. All right. And so the reason behind that is because of all these, you know, all this content online, all these clickbaity titles, clickbaity concepts that are just setting up young entrepreneurs to fail. Okay, because who the hell wants to hear that it takes 3 years, 4 years, 5 years of you know, constant struggle and failing? Not that it has to take 4 to 5 years. That's not what I'm trying to say here. But who would rather click on a video? You know, would rather somebody click on a video like that, or a concept like a $20 Instagram shout out turns into $20,000, you know, day on my Shopify store, right? Obviously, the majority of people are going to click on that. They're going to think, okay, cool, like this is what I should expect. And, you know, once they start up their business, right? Once they create their business, couple weeks later, couple, you know, months later, maybe even a couple days sometimes, people realize that, holy shit, that is not exactly what it's really like. And then they just quit, give up, and then they move on to something else. All right. So it's not necessarily like obviously the opportunity, you know, that gets saturated. The majority of the time it's just the person gives up because they came in with the wrong expectations. All right. So that's one. Okay. Now, the startup J curve, what we're gonna cover, it's actually, I didn't make this up, right? It comes from a book by Howard Love. And honestly, just a book that really, really helped me kind of lose the whole idea and just kind of, you know, forget about the idea of overnight success, okay? And instead, I started looking at any new project, any new business, any new product, any new Shopify store or e-commerce brand we want to launch. There's gonna be bumps in the road, and it has to go through these 6 phases that I'm gonna share with you here, okay? That Howard Love, you know, talks about and kind of put together, all right? So you guys can obviously grab the book on Amazon. It's probably like 10 bucks, but I'm just gonna try to morph this into e-commerce, kind of e-commerce based, all right? His concept into an e-commerce world, all right? So the first thing that you're gonna, or the first 2 variables that the startup J curve is based off of is obviously the amount of money that you're making or, you know, spending, right? So that's the first variable, right? Now, the other variable is time, how much time you spend on your business, okay? Whether it be a couple hours a day, a couple hours a week, a couple hours a month, whatever it may be, that is the other variable, okay? And you know, success depends on, this is how most people look at success, is how much money they can make based on a specific amount of time, okay? So in e-commerce, obviously somebody that's making $1,000 a day is quote unquote more successful than somebody who's making only 500, okay? So that's how we're basing this, this data off of, okay? So the first phase is when you create your business. Again, the average e-commerce entrepreneur coming into the business is going to automatically set up a Shopify store, go to AliExpress, you know, add a few products onto their store, and then create a couple Facebook ads, just super minimum viable product, okay? Now, the idea of there's 2 kind of sides to it, right? There's some people that do things too quick, and then there's some people that procrastinate for a lifetime, all right? Now, there has to be a middle ground, okay, where you spend a good amount of time, effort, and energy into a product, into a Shopify store, into a brand before you launch it, and then there is such a thing as trying to perfect it, okay? And so there's people that suffer from both, you know, laziness and kind of some people that, I mean, honestly, Juan, would you consider somebody who procrastinates? Yeah, lazy, right? No, procrastination, somebody who's lazy, somebody who's a perfectionist is also kind of lazy, I guess.
I wouldn't say lazy. I don't know what's.
Yeah, because they're working on it, so I guess they're just
working on it too much.
Yeah, working on it too much. Okay, so depending on what your minimum viable product looks like and how you perceive minimum viable products to be like, right? Like if you're watching a bunch of YouTube videos, I tell you, oh, all you gotta do is just copy a bunch of, what's the good one? Find a Shopify store, find a good ad, or find the best selling product, and then copy everything they're doing, copy their Facebook ad, copy who they're trying to target, and boom, you're gonna be turning $10 into $1,000, all right? So if that's what you perceive minimum viable product to be, then this period between the creating and the release phase is gonna be either pretty quick, or if you're a perfectionist, we have some students that try to spend too much time on the product, and we highly advise them like, hey, this is ready. And once they launch it, they're like, wow, I should have launched it even earlier, okay? We say that with some of our products as well sometimes too. And so the next phase after you create everything is you release it, right? So you launch those Facebook ads, you launch those Instagram ads, Google ads, right? Maybe you get a few Instagram shout outs. And right after that, pretty much you sit back and you wait on the results to roll in, okay? So also, this is a side note, depending on how confident you are in your minimum viable product, the more that your release phase is going to actually bring in enough data to consider it a success or a failure, okay? I just want to mention that because a lot of people don't even know what to expect once they actually release their product into the marketplace. They don't even know what kind of data they're looking for to determine if they're successful or on the path to success or making money with that product and scaling it into profits or not. Okay, we've literally had some clients that come to us and they're like, hey, our product is failing, it's struggling, can you help us scale it into, you know, profits like it used to be? And we look into their data and they're actually doing better than they expected, okay? Because they didn't know how to read that data. So after you release it, the majority of e-commerce entrepreneurs are releasing their store, releasing their ads, and after getting no sales or one sale or just a handful of sales, pretty much if they don't see like 4 to 5 figures, they consider themselves failing, all right? And what they hit is something called the valley of death. Okay, the valley of death, Howard Love describes as the place where 99% of businesses go to die. Why? Because it's after they've done all the basics, after they've done the simple things that it takes to create a business, and then they release it and don't get any results. That's when most people give up and move on to another business idea. Okay, so what you're looking at is mostly a lot of people's e-commerce career looks like it's just a bunch of dips, okay? It's a bunch of time invested or a bunch of money invested, not too much time, not too much expertise, and it's just an automatic, it's just like a failure after failure after failure, okay? So for some people that becomes a habit, is they keep thinking that it's just gonna keep expecting these overnight successes without actually understanding what phase they're in and how to get into, you know, the place where they are successful, okay? Or their business is a success. So the valley of death, like I said, right, is where 99% of e-commerce stores go to die. So what separates the 99%, I come in through here, versus the 1% that are actually in profits in scale, okay? Well, I'll tell you what, the next phase is, in my opinion, is what really makes the difference, okay, between those that succeed, right, and those that fail. And that phase is the morphing phase, okay? Because there's very, very few people on this world that I see, right, on a day-to-day basis, that when they hit a problem, they don't just accept that defeat, okay? They don't accept that defeat. They actually they take on that first defeat as a challenge. Make sure that this is still recording. Okay, perfect. Right, they accept it as a challenge. So while the majority give up, they actually accept it as a challenge and start to really dive into what it's really gonna take. They start to question all the data that they're running their business off of, okay? So instead of believing and running the business off of the concept of, hey, I could turn $10 into $1,000, or I can turn a $20 Instagram shot into $20,000 and expecting those kind of results, they start to realize that, hey, like I need to actually do X, Y, and Z and run my business off of the idea that it's gonna take this much effort to get the results that I'm looking for. Okay, so they pretty much have to eliminate all false beliefs. And so you really have to dive into that if you're in this phase, especially, right? In the valley of death, if you feel like you're at a point where you have no idea what to do next, you just feel like giving up, quitting, you're probably at that point. And so just ask yourself, what are you really expecting? Are you thinking maybe, are you like expecting the world within a day? Or maybe you think it's gonna take, you know, 10 years to build such a business? Like, what are those false beliefs that you have? And that's really a topic for a whole nother video when it comes to false beliefs. But morphing your business, all right, is, and I'll give you guys an example, you know, in my case, in Juan and I's case, when we first started off with e-commerce, all right, or even before that, we were doing door-to-door sales. And, you know, we were working like 6 to 8 hour days. And we, you know, we just got sick and tired of getting like kicked out of houses, getting doors slammed in our face. I mean, It got real bad. When I told you about a time somebody pulled out a gun on me, right?
No, oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it even happened to you one time.
I remember that time
In like Anaheim, was it, right?
No, the first week we got out.
Oh, the first week we got into Pittsburgh. Yeah, in Pittsburgh, California, somebody pulled out a gun on Juan, or he was hiding it behind the door. So it was just a crazy like job. We weren't making enough money. And so we realized we had to morph what we were doing into something else. So we got into e-commerce. And once we morphed our, kind of the way we're making money, we obviously, not right away did we get that success we were looking for, right? We started off drop shipping. Okay, so when we started off with drop shipping, I mean, it went really well. There wasn't that much competition. It was still something fairly brand new. And, we read an article, hey, these two other, young entrepreneurs are crushing it. So maybe, we're like, hey, we can probably do it too. But honestly, the expectations we had in the first going into it is definitely not the same beliefs that we run our business by today, okay? And I'll explain what I mean by that in a second, but essentially we expected results too quick. And literally for the first like month and a half or so, it was just losses after losses after losses. I mean, it was already expensive enough to live in California, but to be just flushing money down the toilet, like hurts even more. But we knew that after, we see the data come back in, that we weren't just gonna give up right here, right? We had to actually morph what we needed to be, morph into what we needed to be to thrive and scale. And so at first we were just using random products, selling random fidgets online. And then all of a sudden we started selling, products that were actually in demand. Okay, so that was the first major shift. First, we thought we could throw up any product we want on there, whatever we feel like it. I mean, remember Juan was just like, hey, I work out, let's throw in these sick chains, these sick milkshake shakers on there, protein shakes, t-shirts, all that good stuff. And, it didn't work out. And so the first shift we had to make and morphing we had to do was to start selling products that were already in demand, that people were already buying, that people were already interested in. And so that was the first type of morph we had to make. The second morph, which was just about a year, I would say about actually 6 months or so ago, we started launching these things called micro brands, okay? And we had to go from drop shipping to actually building brands. And the reason why was because every single person, every single entrepreneur all of a sudden was trying to do e-commerce. It was just like, hey, as easy as copy somebody else's product, somebody else's listing, copy their Facebook ad, their Instagram post, whatever it is, and just, run traffic to it. And, costs started rising on Facebook, on Instagram, a lot more competition. So we had to start, putting in more effort, and we had to start branding our products. And the difference was literally like night and day, all right? And the reason why I say that is because after interviewing so many e-commerce entrepreneurs on our podcast, actually, the Secure the Bag podcast, we realized that, hey, these people are selling things that could be drop shipped, but yet they're just branding them so that way they can sell them for 7 to 10 times more the retail price or the average drop shipper. Okay, so they had branding, brand equity, on influencers were more than happy to work with them, and it was a lot easier to get influencer shout outs for the sake of having a branded product. I mean, the average influencer nowadays would love to promote an actual brand that looks good because it makes them look good. But on the flip side, they're not willing to just shout out any average drop ship product, like a shitty looking store, a random looking fidget. Like, they are very selective on the brands that they work with, and they want to work with great brands. And so that was another morph we had to make in our business, all right? And this is just in the past year and a half. And so that's quite a long time, honestly. So my hope, my save for you for watching this video right here is so that you don't have to make these mistakes and you just start off exactly where we're at right now, right? Last month we're in the past 37 days or so, we've done like $200,000 plus, okay? And you can check out the last video. I think it was like, it's titled 193K micro brand in 34 days, I believe. So check that out. Now, after the morphing phase is the model phase. Okay, this is when you establish your business model. Okay, when you establish exactly what your business model looks like the exact people you need to have in your company, right? Support staff, people that help with your product development, with supply chain, with Google advertising, media buying, creating content, right? Creating ad creatives, all these things. Once you're able to build your whole business model and really build your team as well, your organization, not only until then can you actually scale your business, okay? And then honestly, or at the end, harvest, okay? So after you establish your business model, after you know exactly how your business can operate to its full efficiency, okay? And trust me, we've done a mistake of scaling before we figured out an exact model, and it's a disaster. And the reason why is because once you start getting tons and tons of customers making a lot of money, people want their products, they want it on time. And if you don't have the right business model set up, right, the right team in place to help you fulfill the orders on time, make sure that all customers are happy and you're not getting crazy returns, then you're obviously gonna have to have the right team in place. So that way when you scale, you're able to handle that efficiency, okay? You're able to handle that, that problem, which is a great problem of having a lot of customers. But if you can't handle the problem, then it's just gonna crash, okay? And last but not least is when you actually get to harvest and you're in massive profits, okay? Once your brand is built up, once your website or your e-commerce store is fully built up, then, and not only until then, can you harvest the profits, okay? So we just covered the 6 phases right here. Honestly, I don't really do too many of these videos right here. We don't do too many of these videos right here, but I hope you guys got value out of it. Again, we just covered the 6 phases of the startup J-curve for an e-commerce business, all right? Which is after you create and you do all the basics, if you're operating off of the right data, the right information, the right strategy, the right blueprint, then after you get into the release phase, okay? Or if you're not operating on the right data or the right knowledge and the right blueprint, then after you release your product, after you launch your Facebook ads, after you launch your store, you're gonna hit the valley of death, okay? And the only way that you can get out of that valley of death, right, which is just a period when you launch and all of a sudden all of your false beliefs that when you thought you could turn $20 into $20,000 or $10 Facebook ad into $1,000, like all these false kind of things that you thought were gonna happen, don't. And then you have to face the harsh reality of what it's really gonna take to build your business, which is actually learning the skill sets, learning all there is to know about e-commerce, the whole pillars, everything there is to know, the profitable product index, how to build sequences of irresistible offers, how to build massive value instead of trying to compete on price. Not only until you learn things like that can you actually morph your business into what it needs to be. And then after that, you actually build your business model, okay? You'll learn how to build your staff, how to build, get people in the right positions so that way you can conquer and dominate in any market that you go into, right? Because I'll tell you what, nobody can run, there's no 7-figure store that I've ever seen in my life that was run by one person. It's impossible, okay? You need a group of people, you need employees, you need partners, you need staff, you just need to have the right people in place. And again, that's not something that the average YouTube video is, or the average blog is gonna mention or really stress upon, okay? You're gonna make it seem like that's just another one of those things, but unless you can expect these phases right here, then you will always be in a state of confusion, doubt, worry, and that's just a sucky place to be at, honestly, when you're building a business. You'd rather know and expect what's to come. Okay, you gotta understand that, hey, I'm gonna hit the valley of death, and that's fine. I just need to morph and then build my business model. And until then, and not only until I build my business model, can I actually scale my business. And once I'm able to scale, that's when I will harvest and reap the fruits of my labor. Okay, I saw a great quote that says, or goes something like, that's my best way to ever position a quote. It goes something like, the last thing to grow on a tree is its fruits. Okay, so not only until or after the roots are in, full 100% mode, after the tree grows, it gets its sunlight, you feed it, you take care of it, till you can get the fruit. All right, so again, this was a little bit longer. It's like, what, 25 minutes? Wow. So hopefully you guys got value out of it. Not the most high quality, okay? Honestly, we're putting all of our focus, okay? I'm not trying to be another YouTuber here. That's not what I'm doing this content for. I'm doing it to provide what the average YouTuber, the person who's just trying to sell you all their courses, trying to sell you all these false beliefs, I'm here to give you the harsh reality, okay? And unless you know this and you have, the exact business model and the, exact way you need to morph into, can you actually see the success that you're looking for? So, like it or don't, it's just the truth. Love you guys. Again, smash that subscribe button if you like more videos of these, and hit that ring, the bell or whatever that is. Peace. I'm out of here.